Hey, Andrew here. Today I'm going to be analyzing and talking about the film 5 centimeters per second, discussing its plot, narrative structure, visual storytelling, and giving my overall interpretation of its deeper meanings. The film is directed by Makoto Shinkai and is composed of three parts revolving around the story of Takaki Tono and Akari's relationship, as they experience the pain and anguish that comes along with their lives distancing farther apart as time goes by. The first part is called Cherry Blossom, introducing our two main characters, Takaki and Akari, as they meet and fall in love as children. Soon after finishing elementary school, both of their families move away in different directions, separating the two, but they promise to write letters and to meet again. During this first part, Shinkai focuses on the everyday activities and natural beauty in the mundane to emphasize on the passage of time in the film. Whether it be an image of students studying, a skyline over the horizon, people sleeping on the train to work, or just a normal soccer game, these visuals are used in order to create meaning out of these letters between the two that starts off this narration. In this section, Shinkai inserts close-ups of the letters as well that they exchange, along with the voiceover narration of those letters, and eventually the two meet together at a train station, along with a nice walk outside in the middle of the night sharing an intimate moment by a cherry tree. The two promise to continue to contact each other after leaving the next day, filling Takaki with hope that even in the future, even if they are far apart in distance, these hurdles will not prevent their love. This first part gives us viewers the perspective that Takaki now holds this idealistic view on their relationship, unable to accept this reality of what's currently happening and their time together soon ending. This leads us into the second part of the film, which is told of the perspective of Kane Sumida, who is in love with Takaki while he progresses throughout high school in a new distant town. Part 2 of the film is called Cosmonaut, with Kane's feelings and interests in Takaki serving as a way to give us viewers insight into where Takaki and Akari's relationship is going. Kane most of the time is suffering from the unreciprocated love Takaki fails to give her in return. The interactions between the two convey complex thoughts and emotions without the use of much dialogue. Through this perspective, we watch Kane unable to express her feelings adequately, eventually coming to realize that Takaki was never thinking about her the whole time, that he was still holding on to the hope that he and Akari might together someday be again. Takaki still sends texts to Akari, maintaining his hope and focus on the two being together, delaying himself from accepting the reality that Akari has probably moved on by now. The third part, being the shortest of the three to end off the film, is called 5 centimeters per second, and depicts Takaki and Akari's experience within the adult world. Takaki continues to struggle with holding on to those memories he has with Akari, and removing himself from the emotional attachment of everyone around him. Alongside this, we are shown Akari being happily engaged, moving far past the notion of Takaki being in her life, accepting reality. Takaki, unlike Akari, is unable to accept his reality, failing to reach out to life. However, he still hopes that someday Akari, in his last childhood wish to watch the cherry blossoms fall in spring, will perhaps someday come true. Repetition of the scene with Akari and Takaki being separated by trains at the beginning of the movie comes up again, with Takaki going back at the end all grown up to the same place where it all began, reminiscing on his own idea of what could have been. Retrospective narration during this last part allows insight into the characters' self-reflections and their own understanding of the ideas and differences between what is realistic and idealistic. Throughout the three parts that comprise this film, there are numerous instances of isolation. Whether in a wide open space or in an open courtyard, many of the shots that perfectly encapsulate this theme are long shots, including long shots that use other objects to further emphasize this isolation of characters from the world around them. One of these instances that is used to full effect is when Akari and Takaki meet at the train station and find a cherry tree in the middle of the winter on the walk I mentioned earlier. Unlike the previous shots, this one is from such a long distance that we as viewers can barely make out the two standing next to the tree. The lack of light helps to further highlight this isolation of the two from the rest of the world. It is important to the narrative because at this moment the two are only concerned with each other. They do not care about what will happen next or how their relationship will continue. Other shots that isolate the characters are littered throughout with tons of empty space and thought-provoking imagery, giving them the sense of being alone. After writing this script and watching this film many times now, it leaves me asking myself questions like at what point do you stop believing in lost love? At what point does it become ultimately unhealthy to ruminate on the past? Can Can true love really conquer everything, or is love just dictated by convenience? The story of 5 centimeters per second paints an exquisite portrait of real world struggles through its protagonists. Shinkai doesn't portray love in this story as some might claim. He offers a realistic perspective of love and the essence of a romantic relationship using beautiful visuals and thoughtful narration.